This is the Chore Beer Chats podcast with your host, Laurel Eisbart. Okay, welcome to the newest episode of the Chore Beer Chats podcast. I am here with my friend who also happens to be a local entrepreneurial baddie, wife, mom, genius, etc. Her name is Nicki Straus of Wick Bear. Tell me about Wick Bear. What is that? What is Wick Bear?
So I make candles, obviously, as you know.
I do know.
I started my business. Do you want my origin story right now?
I mean, let's ease into it.
Okay.
Before we give the people all the info, let's give them a little context because we are friends and maybe you would like to know where our origin story started. I don't even know. Was it
I know. We've been friends now for a year and a half. So our first date was the summer of 2021. Do you remember where we were?
I do, but I don't think it was the summer. I thought it was the fall.
No. It was the summer.
It was the Tin Fiddler in Sarnia. We just kind of hit it off there.
Our love just grew.
It blossomed, but
Yeah.
it truly, I think, was fostered through a commonality of we are very much the same in terms of ambition. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah,
I would say so.
right? We're in very different fields. I would say I'm creative, but not like candle making creative. I mean, I could probably do it if I tried. Stay tuned for the Mercantile Eisbart Acres candle.
Surprised she's actually the candle maker, and I'm going to become a farmer.
I'm the guest on your podcast.
I definitely could not do what you do. Let's just make that very clear. Could you make candles? Yes.
You could have chickens.
I could have, yes.
That's kind of, I think, where we bonded.
Well, I think that first dinner that we had, you had the idea of doing Fall on the Farm because you didn't even have the Mercantile yet.
No.
And so you were bouncing that idea off of me.
Is that where it started?
Yes, because I was planning the summer send-off. Yeah.
So you did this to me.
Yeah.
You started this.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Wow.
Yeah. So that's how it started. And then we just kind of snowballed from there. And it's one idea after another. And you'll be like, tell me if I'm crazy, but, and I'm like, you're not crazy. And you should do also this. I would phrase it more as we support each other's goals and dreams and help them come to fruition.
Yeah.
But yes, we can also both be crazy.
So, yeah, Nick has been making candles since 2017?
No.
20.
No.
19.
2018. The end of 2018. Yeah.
I did my research.
Yeah. The year Logan was born.
Why did Wick Bear begin? Like a brief origin story.
Okay. Brief. Very brief.
Yeah,
So I was home on maternity leave with Logan, who is now my older of two, and did not take well to maternity leave, I would say. I have always been, since then, jealous of moms who can totally just put themselves into mom mode and feel fulfilled by that.
Yeah.
And I got more anxious being home.
Yeah, another reason we're friends, because we're the same. Yep.
Yeah, so I was definitely struggling. I also am not from here, so I didn't have a big network of people that I knew here. I didn't have mom friends really. So I was just home with Logan. Yeah, who we call our Loki Bear, hence Wick Bear. And I had always loved candles. I used to be the girl who burned the Bath and Body Works candles in every room of her home.
We all were her.
And I'm
once.
why do I have headaches? I can't even figure this out. I might need to light another candle. And so when I was pregnant, I was looking into what was in those candles. And I was like, oh man, these are really not good for you. So then I decided I was going to try making candles. So I bought some books on how to make candles, started going to find different suppliers. started testing things, trial and error, and it just kind of grew from there.
So you have 2 babies, yes?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another thing that you and I bonded over right away. Like, our kids are the exact same age.
Yeah.
We're in the exact same thick of things in life.
Our husbands work together.
Right?
Just a lot of things in common.
Yes.
But my question was, so Logie Bear, Wick Bear, is Coco gonna grow up one day and be like, what the fuck, Mom?
I know. I thought about, like, do I now make it Wick and Bears? But we don't call, so it's a no.
Oh.
We don't call, Cole is not our bear. Like, it's Logie Bear and Coco Bean. And I'm not going to change it to, like,
Wiccan Beans?
No, like, Bean and Bear. Like, I love Cole, but he's just not part of the origin story.
Coco will just learn. Mm-hmm. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. Okay, so things have been going really well for you. So do you have exciting things on the horizon?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing basically just candles for 4 years now. And finally, like, comfortable extending into other products. So we'll be launching with the spring. We're going to be launching lotions, and then also room sprays and potentially perfume roll-ons as well.
Love that. That's very exciting. And that feels like a natural progression for you. So that's amazing. So yeah, like I was saying, you definitely make, in my opinion, the best candles in the area.
Thank you.
And I do think that that's something that the entire community has recognized, as you do have a big following and a big sense of support from community, right? You feel that? You do feel that? Yeah. Because you should. You deserve it. But I believe that that success does come with some caveats, if you will, such as, when someone starts being successful, some other people might want to be like, hey, I want to do that. Maybe I'll just do that too, so I can also be successful. So that's kind of what I want to get into a little bit next, is just touching on sort of the copycat culture that can happen in sort of the maker industry. Obviously, there are candles everywhere, but everyone, I mean, ones that you know about, ones that are successful are the ones that are doing their own thing, putting some spin on it. Yes, it's all a candle, but it's, of course, all the little details and branding and things that you do that make you stand apart. And of course, like, you as a person, your customer service, blah, blah, blah. And you know all about that. But unfortunately, there are some people out there that just want to try to replicate what you're doing without changing it and hoping for the same result. Do you have any experience on this particular situation you can share?
I would say so. Yeah, I would say the first experience that I had with that was probably at least a year ago now, that all of a sudden customers of mine came out with their own candle brand that looked the exact same as mine. I was like, oh man. Pretty much all of the other candle brands that have come out now were my customers. Yeah, it's happened to me a bunch of times now, and I'm being totally honest. Something clicked in me within the past couple months that I was like just completely over it, and it didn't bug me anymore. And I don't know if it was just that it happened so much that it was like to be expected or what, but it used to really bug me and really get me down, and I would feel just so disheartened and so demotivated because when I started, there wasn't anything like what I was doing.
Right.
And
I felt like they just started coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, I felt like I was kind of filling a gap in the market, and I built up this brand loyalty and customer base and trust with my consumers and good reputation with my retailers. And then to have all these people kind of come and do the exact same thing felt like, oh, like, why do I do this?
Yeah. Did it make you feel like, obviously it sounds like you've come to terms with it and you're in like a good, healthy place with it, which sounds awesome. And obviously it would make you feel all the things you said. Like, I would be so emotionally worn out from from dealing with that? Because yeah, you would just want to give up. Did it ever make you feel like threatened? Like,
I would say so, for sure. Like every time there's a new competitor in your space,
yeah,
it kind of just like shakes things up, and you don't know where all the pieces will land with that shake up. So you don't know if their product is going to be better, if their price point is going to be more aggressive than yours. One thing that's amazing about where we live is people are so receptive to new businesses and will pretty much always try them out. Like if a new restaurant opens,
that's true.
Everyone will go and try it
thing.
out. If a new brewery opens, everyone will flock there. So I totally understand people being like, oh, like this is the new thing. Like, let's try it out. Let's be supportive of small businesses. We do have a strong community for supporting small businesses. So I completely understand people wanting to try something out.
I did want to go into something that you actually said to me. I don't even know when it was, like within the year. I don't even know. But you said a term to me and it kind of resonated, and I just want to hear more. So it was kind of on this topic, I think. I think we were in the throes of possibly discussing when some of these situations were occurring. And the phrase came up. We're all familiar with the phrase community over competition. Yes. So the definition of community over competition means that people and relationships are more important than gaining all the business or customers you can. That's just a loose definition. There's a billion. But something you said to me was that you thought, I might be putting words in your mouth, but it was something about community over competition being bullshit. In those, possibly not those words, but something
Not
along
exactly
those lines.
those words.
A myth?
Well, I think it has its merits. I think specifically, I think women, we get pushed into or backed into this corner where we feel like community over competition / and women supporting women should supersede everything else over us trying to run a successful business. And I think that, again, we get forced into feeling like if you're not trying to promote every female-owned business or another business, then you're just anti-community or you're anti-collaboration.
Right.
Whereas we all had to, and that's not to say that I'm not collaborative with people. I think that goes without saying that I've collaborated with so many different businesses and I support the businesses that I want to support, but I don't blindly support businesses. I don't blindly support businesses that have not earned my trust or respect.
Trust is coming back, you guys.
That's kind of the underlying theme to the podcast, I guess.
Trust issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Like that. So going back to that first time that customers of mine came out with the same product as me, it was really the very first time that I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, and it's like that gut punch feeling. I was like, oh man, like people were sending me this profile and being like, look, I think I said something along those lines in my stories, because I do a lot of stories. Obviously, that's where like most of my content is on my Instagram, about just how it feels to feel that copying and how it is just disheartening and it's disappointing. And that brand reached out to me and said, is this about us? And
yeah,
no, honestly, I was just like, it's just in general, but your profile was sent to me and it was just a bummer. Like I am bummed about it because you guys have been my customers for a year or whatever it was at that point.
Also, the audacity for them to be like, is this about me? Like, if you're listening, it was about you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is going to get really dicey. Anyways, so I was like, I thought that I was being like as respectful and positive as I could.
In this situation, of course.
With still saying like, it's a bummer, basically. And then they did this whole post about like, real women support other women. And I was like,
oh my God, I didn't know
ouch.
about that.
Yeah. I was like, ouch. So am I supposed to support this because you're a woman, like if I'm a real woman, I'm supposed to support. I don't know.
I totally get it, and that totally makes sense to me because there are guidelines.
Yeah.
Like there are rules.
So and I know like this is a big thing even on like TikTok and with influencers is this whole concept of gatekeeping. And people be like, where's your sweater from? And if you don't respond and tell where your sweater's from, it's like, oh, they're gatekeeping. So when it comes to clothing, I don't really understand why you wouldn't just be like, my sweater's from here. Like you already own it, so it's not going to sell it. And when it comes to where do you get your wax, or like how do you come up with your scents, or like can you tell me where you got those jars from, things like that. It's like that's where I think it does make sense for if somebody is not in your network of people that you trust. Yeah, then like why would I tell you, why would I give you my recipe,
fucking trade secret
that I had to figure out myself, fine-tune myself. Like I've put all of my blood, sweat, tears, equity into all of this. I'm not going to share that with everybody, but then am I gatekeeping? Am I anti-collaborative?
I don't think it's gatekeeping because I feel like it's your fucking makeup. What's it called? Makeup hacks and makeup routine. I'm an idiot. Yeah. Your makeup routine or like your socks.
I will tell you that all day.
Who gives a
every
shit?
Day.
But literally the recipe for the source of my fucking income. Why?
Like nobody is going to walk into a McDonald's and be like, can you give me the list of your suppliers?
What's in your special sauce?
Yeah. Although I do think that is
Do they know the special sauce? Fuck.
I'm pretty sure it's Thousand Island dressing and...
There's a secret ingredient.
Mayonnaise.
No, there's definitely something secret in it. It's probably...
Pickles, probably.
Magic.
I don't know. Anyways. Do you know what I'm saying,
I do know what you're saying.
So I do think, and I don't see this happening to any male-run businesses where they're pushed into this corner of like, women support women. There's no like, men support men. There's no like... boss babe, it's just a boss. Are we going there?
We're not there yet, but I want to get there. Oh, fuck, you're firing me up.
Sorry, this is...
I want to get there.
This is what we do together.
I am just fired the fuck up. Okay, so just wrapping up the community over competition thing. Yeah, I think there is a specific nuance with that, and it absolutely depends. And it is not black and white, and I think it is important to know who you can trust and your circle of trust, and it's okay to not want to share things like that outside of it, because also if you've had the experience of what you've had with certain people taking your shit, I would also just want to like lock down and never tell anything ever again. But you seem like you're getting through it.
I am
wonderfully. And do you feel like it has just maybe more fueled you a little bit?
To a certain extent, for sure. Like I think, as you know, you and I are always in this like fun fight or flight mode where we're always like running from the fire.
Usually fighting, but always fleeing.
I'm fleeing.
I'm fighting and fleeing at the same time.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yes, I would say it does. I'm forced to continue to innovate to stay ahead. So yes, to a certain extent, yes. Would I prefer to always be running from a fire? No. Would I prefer to be more comfortable? Yes.
You know what's fucked is everything we're touching on are like subjects I have wanting to get into deeper later in this episode.
Oh,
it's
sorry.
No, but it's funny how in tune we are.
It's happening organically.
It truly is. Speaking of, I like to do a Chorbier chat line segment in which I take questions from our listeners for our guest, and we choose a few and we answer them. So Alexis wants to know how you deal with navigating your business in a saturated market.
Oh.
She goes on to say, candles are such a competitive market, but Wick Bear has made such a name for itself. How do you do it? So we kind of touched on a little bit of that, but more so, how do you set yourself apart? Not just talking on the copycatters now, but just in general. And I don't want you to give away any trade secrets, obviously, but like, what do you feel has given you a boost?
Well, one of my biggest advantages was being fairly early to the market.
Yeah. I think that you have established yourself really well in the community. And I think what you've been working on, I think in the last like year maybe, is you've really made it your goal to expand a little bit.
Yes. And I agree. The market is so saturated right now there are a million different candles, and it can be hard to distinguish yourself, because even if I'm saying like, oh, my scents are inspired by living on the shores of Lake Huron or the Great Lakes or whatever, like that might not resonate with somebody. You know, like I have this strong business established here, and my goal has been to expand outside of our area, and that's why I've been like doing more shows. And
right. I would go so far as to say what sets you apart in this community is the trust that you have built, right? Yes. Which is more difficult when you try to branch outside of that circle of trust, because people aren't as familiar with your brand. So you're going to get more, you're going to face some more turbulence trying to get what you want.
Skepticism, probably from consumers that are not used to me.
Right.
One thing that I'm very passionate about, as you know, is the scents.
I was going to say
funny.
that does set you fucking apart, because you're like a scientist.
I like to think so, because I like things to smell complex and luxurious and distinct from other things. So if I see someone making a certain scent, like I'm never going to make that scent. That is one thing that sets me apart. Yeah, I'm passionate about the scents for sure, for sure. I take a lot of pride in that, and I also feel a lot of sense of reward when people say, oh my gosh, like, and they'll smell them in front of me, which only happens to me at shows, right? Because I'm not in front of customers.
Right.
And when people smell them, they're like, oh my gosh, these all smell so good. Or like, these are super different. I'm like, yes, okay, like that is why I do this.
There we go.
So I'm not going to make a vanilla. So there are probably people who sell candles in our community that are geared more towards that kind of scent.
Right.
People will
And that
message me being
works.
like, do you have like a grandma's kitchen kind of scent? No, and I won't. And I'm sorry.
Not here, honey. Not here.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's okay, because there's a place for everyone.
Totally.
So do your own fucking thing, I think.
There's room at the top for everybody.
We're all up here. There's room. Pull up a fucking chair.
Just do your own thing.
Just fucking do your own thing.
Carve out your niche for yourself. Totally. And
you can make a candle. Just do it. Like, try to be different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, make an attempt. So I have another question, and this one's from Sherilyn. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Sherilyn. We're going to keep rolling. Tell me a time when you wanted to quit and what changed your mind to stick with it. And I think that comes back to, you already kind of brought that up, that when you had people, dogging you, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's not even people copying me. Like, I think we are all guilty of this with going on social media, and you see someone, like for me, it might be seeing other candles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this person just started and they have all of these followers, which I assume means all of these sales. Or like if you're into fitness, you're like, I'll never be as fit as this person. Or if your biggest passion is like being a mom, and you're like, this person's kids are so much more, you know, we're all guilty of that. And I feel like social media is this.
It's like my lifeblood, but also my poison.
Yes. And
it's so good, but so fucking bad.
Yeah.
So you have to be in the right headspace, I think. And it takes like growth and maturity. And even when you think you've got it handled, you're allowed to have fucking weak spots. Like, it's really hard. And
you know what? I think that's why I'm spending more time consuming media on TikTok rather than Instagram. I post on Instagram. I don't really post on TikTok very much, but I consume more media on TikTok because it makes me laugh. It makes me like, I just love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
TikTok.
And I go on Instagram and I scroll my Discover feed and I just feel like, like I'm just shrinking in myself, feeling like, like imposter syndrome. I'll never get there, whatever.
Yeah. It's just too curated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very
beautiful. Because I don't know if I'm if the word's guilty, but like, I guess I'm guilty of, I follow the TikTok. I mean, I think we all do for the most part. It's the society, the culture of Instagram is, you know, for the most part, like aesthetically pleasing, your feed, blah, blah, blah. Where TikTok, it's just it's the fucking wild west.
Yeah, like on Instagram, it's like, oh, does this go with my grid?
Yeah.
My reel cover. Oh, shoot, I just posted one like that 3 feeds down, and now and now it looks bad, like totally. And
like
we get
what,
so in our heads, but it literally is our business. Like I get so much of my traffic to my website through Instagram, so I have to care about it. Okay, but going back to the question of did I want to give up?
Oh yeah, I was already like on a different street.
We didn't answer Sherry Lynn's question. I would say this like 3 months ago was the biggest ever time that I was like, I think I might be done. Mm-hmm. And part of it was I took a step back and realized like everybody who started at the same time as me is not really in business anymore. All of the other makers that I used to be like our maker pod, they were gone. And I was like, oh, like, is this just the natural life cycle of brands where after 4 whatever years, people are over you, people want something new, fresh, whatever, like, should I be just done? Like, am I done? Am I out of ideas? Am I done? And all of a sudden I got to this point where I'm like, oh my God, just the constant grind of things. So I started to think those thoughts of like, I feel like I'm done. And actually I said to Ryan, like, do you think I could sell my business? Like, could I do that? Could I find someone who would just buy my business? And I just started to kind of like sit with those feelings and think, okay, maybe I'm done. Am I done? Like, am I moving on? Am I going to come up with some other idea that's not candles soon? Like, am I on the brink of something else? And then I started talking to people about it, and I decided I would give myself to the end of the year because we always feel so burnt out by the end of the year. Like the holiday season is our Super Bowl as makers. I think coming out with these new products has sparked my creativity again, where I'm like feeling reinvigorated.
You're adapting.
Yeah.
So it's the businesses and brands that can't or won't adapt that aren't going to make it.
Or they truly feel done with it.
Sure.
And that's also fine.
Totally.
Like, I don't think that that's ever a failure of saying like, you know what, I've done everything that I want to do with this and I'm all done. It's totally fine for businesses to be done what they wanted to accomplish with their business.
Wick and Bear's not done. Wick and Bear's just fucking getting started.
Creative people are a different breed.
I think our brains are different. Yeah.
Yeah. We're wired to be like, always doing new things. I think not putting that pressure on ourselves, like if my business does not exist for 20 years and it was a failure, no. There's a natural life cycle to businesses. I just started to feel like, should I be all done? And
which I think is a very natural valley.
2022, the end of 2022 was also rough. Inflation, talk of recession, interest rates being crazy. People were feeling a lot more insecure about spending.
And also shipping.
Oh my God. Everything. The cost of everything went up.
It's like everything's fighting against you to fucking succeed. Yet you push through because it's what you want to do.
Nevertheless, we persevere.
Yeah.
And like we're heading into a really uncertain year.
You're depressing me. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, let's move on.
You spoke a little bit on, you just touched on the grind. Would you consider yourself a boss babe? Okay, context is that Nicki does not like the term boss babe. I would concur with her, but I want to get into that a little more. So, because I think this is going to like be a little, I don't know, maybe jarring for some people because it's like a very common normalized language to use. But basically we're talking about the terms girl boss, boss babe, lady boss, CEO, etc.
She shed,
like just putting
cutesing the regular terms that exist and making them feminine for some reason.
So the phrase girl boss was made popular by Sophia Amoruso. She was the founder of Nasty Gal. This was back in 2014 that this sort of started taking off. I literally remember like buying this book for a friend. Like it was like the culture. Like
it was called Girl Boss?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because she's the founder of Nasty Gal and she wrote this whole thing. And I remember buying this for my girlfriend who was like, I think at the time, I don't know, going into law school or some shit. So I was like, oh, fuck yeah, girl boss. So like I 100% fed into the culture. I'm like, this is great. Being a girl boss is everything. But like, can we be honest that I feel like it's a bit derogatory, a bit demeaning, a little offensive to people who identify as women, question mark?
To me, it's more like good for you, not for me.
Okay, yeah.
Like
that's a nice way of putting it.
If that speaks to you and you're like, I'm a girl boss, and that resonates with you and you find that motivating, get it, girl.
Get it, girl boss?
But for me, and I did, that resonated with me for sure when I started out. I'm like, I'm a business owner, I'm a mom, I'm a mompreneur, whatever.
Mompreneur, that's the other word. Yeah.
And then I think it was actually my best friend was like, why are you a mompreneur and not just an entrepreneur? And I was like, because I'm a mom.
Hashtag mom life.
And
Hashtag moms under 30, 40. Fuck.
I do think there's something to be said about the duality of having multiple roles. Mm-hmm. Like there is something to be said about the fact that I'm a mom and I still am able to run a business. Or maybe if there's like a single parent in one capacity or another that runs a business, like that is super impressive. Good for you. Or being a woman in general, we have been more not in the working force in the past. So it had its time and place, I feel like.
I agree.
And when entrepreneurial life was really kind of kicking off for women, maybe that's when this whole nasty gal thing started. I don't know.
Maybe? Yeah.
I don't know, but you know what? Yes, it's derogatory in the sense that it only speaks to women and not everyone identifies.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different areas of concern.
There's layers.
There's certainly layers. And again, I'm reiterating that like if this is what you're into and like it's totally fine. I just think it's important to acknowledge and consider the potential implications, because it's cool if you want to be a girl boss or whatever. But if you're like, it's kind of like this culture that's been created, and it's cool in the sense that it's like unity. Like we're in this together. We're a bunch of fucking awesome, badass women. Like that is awesome. Like the concept is there and it's great. But as empowering as it is to have that group of people unified, it's also singling other people out. Mm-hmm. So it's excluding other people because, oh, well, I don't identify as girl or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of icky for me in that sense, because you're like basically blatantly not like, and you're not intending to do this likely, but just the language, it's using gendered language in general that is excluding people.
And just not super necessary.
Like it's not necessary. It's saying it's okay. It's putting your gender first and your profession second. Like, why is your gender more important than?
Yeah.
Why do we have to know? Why am I a female farmer, a female boss? Like, so I get it. Like, I am going to touch on this too, and I think some of my listeners are probably gonna be like, what the fuck, Laurel?
Farm her family.
I gotta talk about it because it's something that I've definitely like grown into, and it certainly started when I had kids. I think around there, because I have just gotten way more hypersensitive and aware of the fucking dumpster fire that is the world sometimes, and in an effort to protect my children. So I just started caring about shit a lot more, which I mean is kind of sad because, oh, why couldn't I care about it when it was myself? I don't know. That's a whole other fucking podcast. But yeah, so I started really paying attention to this shit. And like, I have a daughter and I have a son. So it's like interesting for me to consider kind of both edges of the sword. But with farm her. So that's another term that is used a lot still right now, like within the agricultural world. And it's the same sort of concept. It's just, it's a relatively harmless intention, because it's a sense of unity. It's like, yes, I'm a farmer, but I'm a female farmer.
Me, from the outside, I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like, I always have associated farmers with men.
Right. Yes.
So then to see a female farmer, I'm like, that is badass.
So it is. So that side of it, I 100% can get behind. And myself and a friend who has a farm in Alberta, we started a little community hashtag called Farmer Family, but farm her, because we wanted to like, you know, like submit your photos, like everyone, we wanted to kind of just like foster that sense of unity. But But I've grown to just really kind of find it icky. And again, it works for you. That's fine. But it's not working for me anymore because I am more sensitive to the inclusive language, because I'm thinking, okay, cool. So now who have I singled out in my community or of my followers that don't identify as her? And like, oh, cool, there's this club for being a farm her, but you're not in it because like that's not a pronoun that you want. So I just don't like using the term anymore because I get it. Again, like you're wanting to set apart that women are doing it. Because again, yes, farmers, stereotypically, it's 2023 and women in agriculture is still stereotypically like unheard of. Like we're doing great. There's so many women out there that are, advocating and making their shit known and sharing their story. And it's fucking awesome. But I just can't help but feel that using that kind of language, it kind of just, it's contradicting the effect we want it to have in a way. Like we are saying that to like, we want equality, like we want to be treated the same, but it's cutesying it and it's making it like, oh, well, men are still just farmers, but you have to
be a farmer. You're just a farmer.
Like, why can't we just be fucking farmers? But again, I don't want to piss anyone off because I see both sides. I'm just saying, this is just something
I think that's why the whole thing can just be like, good for you, not for me.
Good for you, not for me.
And
something to think about though. It's important. Education's important. And I'm always open to hearing different sides to things. Like there's probably someone listening right now that like girl boss is a term they use and they probably just never second guessed it. And that's, so if it can just spark a little conversation of,
maybe it's our network. Cause I'm like, I'm not even like really seeing that kind of messaging anymore. Maybe it's an elder millennial thing where we're so woke now that we're like, actually, I'm just an entrepreneur.
So fucking woke.
Actually, you can just put boss, period.
You could put ass bitch after boss, but I will accept boss.
And like, why am I so much more comfortable with boss ass bitch than I am with girl boss?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like a power thing. Like, fuck yeah, boss ass bitch. That's a whole other issue, girls. Girls, boys, gays and theys. Speaking of inclusive language. Okay. So I've said my piece on that. All right. Just some food for thought. Don't go changing your vocabulary.
Don't go changing. Don't go rearranging.
I don't know what song that is.
It's like an oldie.
Okay. Don't go chasing. That's what I thought you were getting into. Okay.
No.
I misread the room. So yeah, it's just something to chew on. Education's important. Just, think about it. Okay.
I'm also curious, like maybe people can write in for the next chore challenge.
Yeah, I want to know your feedback.
And like, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings about terminology like that? Like specifically gendering terms that have been traditionally non-gendered.
Yes, I would love. Hit me up on the chat line. And now a word from our sponsors. Looking to book your next family vacation or weekend away with friends? Consider booking your next getaway with Cozy Up Stays. They provide you with access to multiple Airbnbs across southwestern Ontario, the US, and internationally. Their full-service team is there to make sure you have the best experience. Do you own a property and need some help managing it? Reach out to Cozy Up Stays about their management program. You can find them on socials at Cozy Up Stays. Today, they are offering our listeners a 10% discount on your first stay. Use promo code COZYUP2023 when you book. And when you book your stay, remember to cozy up and stay a while.
You know what? I remember sharing something when I started out that was something like babes supporting babes or like we are all babes. I don't know. And someone responded to that and was like, I'm not a babe. And I thought they were saying like, I don't feel like I'm a babe. And I was like, we're all babes.
That's Read the room, honey.
No, I literally responded and said, we are all babes.
Heart emoji.
And she's like, no, like I don't identify with that term. I don't like it. And I was like, oh. And it was really the very first time that I even had an inclination that like maybe this term is problematic. Maybe people don't like it for whatever reason. I was like, oh.
It planted the fucking seed.
Yeah.
I love planting seeds, guys.
Totally.
Just want to plant my seeds in all of you. I want to segue from girl bossing But I want to talk about hustle culture because I feel like that's kind of a similar concept. Okay. Like, so hustle culture for you boomers out there, just kidding. This is for you too, Nikki. It's a lifestyle of someone who continues to work and only rests for a short time. That, again, loose definition, you get the idea. So people with this living this kind of lifestyle, this culture, are often known as workaholics because they think working relentlessly and constantly will make them more successful. And it's the mentality that one must work all day, every day in pursuit of their professional goals. And why is this so relatable? And what the fuck are you finding wrong with this? Because I feel like this is you and me to a T.
That we are part of the
hustle
the
culture.
Vicious hustle culture cycle.
Do you concur or disagree?
I mean, would I ever post something that says rise and grind?
No, that's not what I
never.
No, I don't mean that. Sorry, I guess culture is the wrong term. I feel like we live that life.
Yeah.
Like I'm not out there making like, I'm not wearing t-shirts like grind. I do say
Rise
let's get this
grind.
bread sometimes, but that's ironically.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you say ironically so much that it's just become my vocabulary. But I digress. But I just feel like
we all have the same hours in a day. Things like that.
I put my pants on the same way you every morning. I just fucking make gold records. I fucked that up. That's SNL.
Okay.
Cowbell.
Okay.
Christopher Walken. No. All right. Crickets. I don't know how to make a cricket sound.
Yes, you and I are both definitely guilty of this. And I think that this for both of us is the way that our anxiety manifests.
A hundo P.
So that's why I started a business when I had a 6-month-old baby at home that needed me to sustain him to live.
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, I think that's just, people will ask me that, like, how do you do it all, whatever. And it's like, I get so anxious from
I can't sit still.
sitting. Yeah. Like my biggest anxiety kind of situation is like a Saturday, Sunday morning kind of thing where we're like supposed to just be sitting and hanging as a fam and watching TV. I'm like so anxious. Like I need to, let's go run errands.
Just thinking all the things that you could be getting done.
Yeah, it's my therapist calls it fight or flight mode, and said that I'm just like, I need to get out of that and do
like a baby deer just running around in a fucking running from John Doe. That's a different movie, but John Smith?
John
Pocahontas,
Smith,
not
yeah.
John Doe.
Yeah.
John Doe's like a dead person,
Are
right?
you talking about Pocahontas right now?
Yeah, but
yeah.
I
John Smith.
intertwined the two movies.
Yeah. So it's fight or flight mode for us.
Okay, here's where
Beauty can come from fight or flight mode.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Is like all I hear lately, it's been, bopping up here and there about how, I'm not fuck hustle culture. I want slow. Like, you know what? Again, it's good for you. It's not good for me.
Oh my gosh, I
understand. I get it. I totally fucking get it. Like, enjoy life. I can't enjoy life unless I'm moving at the speed of fucking light.
I know.
It's
horrible.
I've said it before. I think I coined this phrase. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have 2 speeds and it's 5th gear or I'm fucking dead. Okay. So why the fuck is my phone on? What's going on? I just silent. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
I just don't. My problem is with this like hustle, everyone like canceling hustle culture. I don't fucking know. Is I just like don't really get why it's bad. It's bad for some people, but like it's kind of working for me, but also not. Like I get that the constant grind inevitably leads to burnout. I know. I fucking know.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing is like we both get super burned out.
But you know what, baby? All the stars burn out one day, right? You just a star. So that's just gonna happen.
I know. I'm not gonna lie. I wish that there was a way to find a happy medium where my brain wasn't constantly going 1,000,000 miles an hour.
But that's just it. That's just how we are wired.
Mm-hmm. And I miss things all the time because I'm rushing. I'm always rushing. Like literally someone will message me being like, hey, I'm gonna come pick up my order. I'm like, cool. Like I'm going to put it out right now. And as I'm walking to put their order out, something sidetracks me and I forget. And I'm like, is it forgetfulness? Like, is it anxiety? Is it I have ADHD.
All of the above.
Like TikTok has convinced me of that.
Yeah. Yes. The issue is, I think I want to get into next. Let's play a game. Is it girl bossing or is it ADHD? And I just FYI, I am using the term girl bossing. Ironically, watch it become a part of my. I'm gonna start saying it normally.
You're gonna get T-shirts made.
Yeah, new merch, girl boss. So, you know, Nick, you spend a lot of time on TikTok, yeah? Fair amount of time?
Yeah.
We send videos a little bit back and forth. You know, you do that. You got your person that certain videos will go to. A common thread that we typically share are videos related to, like, first of all, earth-shattering, like, emotional trauma therapy discoveries. Like, holy fuck. Like, earth-shattering. Like, holy fuck. Or it's...
that symptom you have, it's from deep emotional childhood neglect.
Yeah.
Like, things like that is what I just like to pepper.
Yeah, like it's not like, oh, look at this cute cat. No, it's it's bad, but it's good. And it's like trippy because I know obviously like some symptoms of things obviously could be other things, but it's wild to be like totally like bullseyed on TikTok. Like, how is this me? And it's not just once, so many of them. So we're doing girl boss or is it ADHD?
Okay.
So one of the videos that I often will come across are ones that are like, oh, here's a sign of that you have ADHD as a woman. Like, oh fuck. And they're literally all me.
Every symptom.
Every single one. So I'm going to read over a few symptoms that like I wrote them down because they're ones that have been jumped out, and I want to know if you concur with them, and if we can just diagnose ourselves right here.
Yeah, I would love that.
So a lot of big ones, and I got these like straight off TikTok. So some symptoms of women with ADHD and women is being a people pleaser. Oh my God. Check. Aggressive people pleaser.
I feel like Ryan and Andy will listen to this and be like, no.
Yeah, just fucking men.
No. What's the opposite of
Oh, it took me a minute. It took me a minute to get there, but here I am.
Welcome.
The next one, stressed out by sensory stimulation or interruption.
Oh my gosh.
Like, get fucked. Yeah.
Like, the level of overstimulated that I get.
Reliance on caffeine, fucking check.
Okay, actually not for me because I just this past week started having 2 coffees a day.
Oh, you do? Oh.
Can I sub a nap for caffeine? Because
sleeping
could nap every day.
Yeah, that's a thing too.
Okay,
so
thank you. So I'm still ADHD.
Yeah, ADHD girlies. Or girl bosses, Foxy.
If we identify as girls,
that's true.
That speaks to us. That's how we identify. That's fine.
You can be an anxiety
queens.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yes, anxious girls.
I am one. Mood swings?
No.
You know what? I wrote that down, but I mean, do you know,
never.
Another thing that our husbands would probably fucking be laughing at right now. Like, yeah, bitch.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Guilty.
Nail or hair picking. I know you pick your nails.
Yes.
I don't do that, but I will fucking always be twirling and shit to my hair. Like, I just rip it out. Oh, you're gonna call me Manny. That has nothing to do with my twirling. You cold-hearted bitch. Oh, okay. No, we can't even give context to this. Okay, I have babies, okay? And then like the normal natural hormone cycle happens where your fucking hair falls out and you have baby hairs. And then, okay, so they started growing back. My youngest is 2.5. So, excuse me. They started growing back, but like just in like a really stupid fucking way. And they just right here. And then they were like really tiny and like, look how long they are now. Okay. Look how much they've come, but they were just right here. And so at one point I fucking had them in the middle part and they were like curled. And then my sister said,
it was actually at the Jilly retreat.
I was at the fucking Jillian Harris retreat. Okay. Like pump my tires up. No, my sister goes, you look like fucking Manny. Is it Manny? The manatee from fucking Ice Age. Go look him up. You know what? I'm going to post a photo probably on here. I'll figure that out.
Link in show notes.
Link in fucking show notes for Manny's hair care. Okay, so yeah, feeling real confident going into Jilly. Anyway, was this a mood swing that I'm having? Dreading small repetitive tasks like dishes or laundry. That's me.
My gosh. Oh my God.
God.
I have ADHD. Can I bring this to my doctor and be like, can I have medicine?
I was diagnosed by the Chorbier Chats podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll sign a certificate for you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to rip through these ones. So difficulty sleeping. I don't really have that one. Overspending. I would
not. No.
pass. Spacey daydreaming? I don't really know.
Yes.
Okay. Repeating
yes.
the same song or show over and over. Holy fuck me.
Stunning.
Ooh, stunning. Yes. Like for me, the office is a safe place. You know what? Also, I think is probably a symptom of, or whatever, is a sign that I have it, is I hate watching previews.
Oh.
I don't know. Maybe that's something
Like
else.
at movies?
Just in general, like a commercial on TikTok, I'll scroll. If I like planning on watching a movie or a show and I see like a preview, or like Andy, you want to watch this movie? Let's watch the preview on it first. I fucking won't watch it because I don't like knowing, because I won't enjoy the movie if I know what's going to happen. Is that just something completely unrelated?
I get what you're saying. A preview of what's coming. No, I'm into that.
Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
I don't know if that's ADHD, but that's probably something fucky.
I don't know.
Like I can't, like I resent it. Like
so I can't watch something I've already seen, which is supposed to be the opposite of anxiety because it's like comforting knowing what's coming.
Yeah.
I like to live on the edge always.
That's the fight.
Yeah.
The fight or flight. Disorganized? You know what? Here's the thing.
I would say yes.
I am very organized in certain aspects, like my shit with more so with my business and everything I do out here in the store and with the podcast. All the shit that I do professionally, I would say I'm organized. My life inside my home, a fucking dumpster fire, disaster. Because I don't want to do it.
I struggle with organization, and every job that I've had where it requires someone to be meticulous, not miss things, like that's not me. And it took me a long time to come to terms with that, because every job description, they're like organized, blah, 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 all of these things. I'm like, I can be that person. Like I'm
lying on my resume.
Yeah, and I'm not good at that.
And that's okay.
Because I'm rushing. Honey. I'm always rushing things.
Flight.
So I miss things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't looking good for us. No. I think we should just submit this entire podcast to our practitioners.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one that's just going to shatter you.
Oh, no.
Well, it's going to shatter me. More sensitive to rejection or criticism. Yeah, that's your girl. Like,
yeah.
I am, again, I lie on my resume. Takes criticism well.
Who criticizes us the most?
Ourselves.
Right. Like, why do we criticize ourselves so incessantly? Like we do it, we get ahead of it.
Yeah, you're right.
People will be like, oh my gosh, congrats on this. And I'm like, well.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. I could have.
I didn't. It's because I got lucky. I don't know.
I didn't girl boss hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A girl boss.
I could have. Also, low self-esteem. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Anxiety. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my God. What is this list?
It's obvious. I know.
I also want people to write in.
Yeah.
If they did not check off all of these, because I feel like, is this not all of us? Who doesn't pick their fingers?
I know. So is this just fucking everything anyone is and it's just
know.
TikTok? Okay, so here is a disclaimer officially that I am not a medical professional and in no way intend to portray myself as one. Please do not use my Girl Boss versus ADHD self-quiz as a diagnostic tool like we are doing right now. If you're interested in a legitimate diagnosis, please consult a professional.
Are we not professionals?
But for real, we're professionals at other things, but certainly not this. Okay. But if you are struggling, you are not alone, and there are solutions out there. So yeah, just call your doctor. Is this a commercial? Anyway, I was just trying to be real there because, like, you know, we can joke about it and stuff, but it's like, it's also very real. But also,
I actually think we're just being honest about our own mental health challenges.
Yeah.
And being self-deprecating in the only way that we know how to talk about our own mental health challenges. So I would hope that no one would take offense to that.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe.
Everyone does. I'll get canceled. It's fine.
We're already getting ahead of the low self. Like, we're like, oh, everyone's angry at us.
So I think the conclusion is it's not girl bossing. It's just ADHD.
Yeah.
But they share a lot. In the Venn diagram, there's a lot of overlap. Okay, so we already did a couple. I sneaky peeked those ones early just because they just worked so goddamn well. I had a lot of people send in their questions for Mrs. Straus. So this one is, and I quote, from Cass Crow, aka biggest fan. Her words, not mine, still true. She would like to know, at what point did you each decide to follow the entrepreneurial hearts and give everything to your businesses? What was the biggest thing that scared you? So first part is, what point did you each decide to follow your entrepreneurial hearts? I had babies. It was literally like I was working as a vet tech when I went on mat leave, and then I had babies, and then I was like, what am I doing with my life? This does not bring me joy. Like, I love animals, but I need to find a different way. This makes shit money. Like, I do not feel like I'm contributing to the support of my family. It comes back to like wanting to build a better life for my kids. And what I was currently doing was absolutely not benefiting that, because it was just trash. No offense. Great, wonderful industry.
Shout out to the place you worked.
So it was not the vibe, and it was not my calling, and I just knew, I was like, I don't want to go back to that, but what else? Like, I can't just not go back, because that's the me kicking in. Like, I can't, just like you said, I can't just, that's cool if you can just throw yourself in and you're a mom that is, you know, you stay at home, you take care of your kids, and you do all the things, and you run the household and whatever. That's fucking awesome. And like Nick was saying, like, jealous, like, good for you, but that is not the way
You don't feel fulfilled by that.
I
which
do
is
not.
Fine.
Yeah.
Everybody is different.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the validation, friend. What did it fucking start with, really? I don't even know. I guess really we wanted them to know where their food came from. We wanted to become more sustainable, kind of like lay that more sustainable foundation in our lives for our kids to grow up with. And so we wanted to raise our own beef. We wanted them to know where food came from and just kind of live more of the farm kid life. And did I answer the question? That was it. Yeah.
Actually, when you and I first met, that was the summer of 2021.
How do you remember? Oh God.
So I remember coming out
it's in her diary.
I remember coming out to the farm with the kids. And I was talking to you about that because I really agonized over the decision, and you seemed really sure of yourself, like a lot sooner than I did.
You had a good paying job. Mine was trash, so it was very easy for me to make that call.
Okay.
I think the money plays a big factor, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
A huge factor. So I was, I was for sure done.
Well, yes, and you were kind of doing that already here. Like, it was a very natural extension of what you were already doing, and it's like, I might as well maintain my certification because I'm already working in this field and whatever, you know. Like, mine is very much day and night.
Right. Oh yeah, we are just very different but very similar.
Yeah. So yeah, for me it was a decision that I agonized over, and the people who are closest to me were probably so sick of having that conversation because
it's a hard choice.
It was a hard choice. I didn't work at the company that I left very long. Like, before I went, it was weird, right? Because I started in, I think, 2019, and then I had just gotten my HR designation, which took forever and like so much work to get.
Yeah.
And it's expensive to maintain and all of the things. And I got this great job, a high paying job, pension benefits, all of it. And I loved my job and I loved where I worked. And
you were not fulfilled.
Well, I was still also running my business on the side.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Then COVID happened, and then I was home, and then I was at home pregnant, still trying to maintain my job.
See my face when you said pregnant? I'm so done with that shit.
I know. So yeah, when COVID hit, so Edson is born in April, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in March I was 3 months pregnant. So we all went home. Daycare was closed. I was pregnant. I was working my corporate job and my side business, Wick Bear, and I had Logan home with me. And I was like trying to do all these things. It was actually probably the darkest time of my life.
Sounds very deep and dark.
And I do still feel bad about the fact that I wasn't there that long, because then I went on maternity leave, and then I didn't go back after my maternity leave. But it took me a really long time to make that decision. Now in retrospect, best decision of my life, because this past year was my best year by far, being able to put my full attention into my business. I set a really big goal for myself this year, and I hit that goal.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So for me, it was a really hard decision.
So what was the biggest thing that scared you about making that decision?
Probably
The security,
leaving my salary.
Yeah,
I was making good money, and I thought, oh my gosh, like what if this is the year that my business tanks, or what if like I can't achieve the goals that I have for myself? And guess what? I made way more than I did in my corporate job.
Mic drop, but don't drop these. They're pretty expensive. Please.
I will not drop these.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was the best decision that I've ever made. And now I can see that, having had the full year to be able to take a look back at the year that I had and see how clearly I am made for the entrepreneur life.
Yes.
Because
love that for you.
I would think back to the jobs that I've had over the years where, like, you know, you have your work phone and people would send an email like, oh, can you check on this for me? And you're like, it is 7 p.m., John.
It's always
that
John.
Can wait until tomorrow when I'm back in office. Thank you. Whereas if somebody sends me a DM now, like, hey, do you have any more of your lamps? I'll be like, I'm going to run out to my shop and check for you right now, Emily, because
you care.
This is me. This is an extension of myself.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about this. I love this.
Thank you, Emily, for your support.
Thank you. So that's how I know that it's different.
Yeah.
It's like there's no resentment there when someone asks for something. It's like it's like the most fulfilling feeling.
Cass, I hope that satisfied your.
Thank you, Cass.
Thank you for your question, Cass. I do have one more question for Nikki. This is from Amanda L. If you had to choose one of your candles that would burn forever, never going out, ever, what scent would it be? I know my answer. Fraser fucking fur. All day, every fucking day. What's yours?
Hey, you know what's so funny? Fraser fur. Like... Yeah.
All right, we're getting a little deep here. How do you balance running your own business and family life and not get burnt out? Hey,
anxious
I don't.
Yeah. I honestly feel like I'm better at running a business than I am at being a mom, and I feel a lot of guilt about that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like I don't have a lot of patience for my kids. Our kids are at really difficult ages.
Yeah.
Like
they are.
4 and 2 is rough. There's just so much fighting. You feel like you're not so much parenting as just refereeing most of the time. The overstimulation is real because every toy has a sound. The shows have the worst sounds.
Yep.
And everyone's hungry all the time.
All the fucking time.
Someone needs a diaper change. Like it's a
Endless.
lot.
Yeah.
So
gotta wipe someone's ass.
I'm definitely struggling in this season of life with parenting, and that tends to supersede everything else. So if something is going on with my children, it overshadows everything else, and I can't really focus on other things, and
yeah, I get that.
it's tough.
So yeah, basically I think the answer is it's not always possible.
And it's not sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, it's certainly not. I think you only have so much in your cup, and to, put so much mental energy into your business or whatever else you're doing, you do need to pull a lot from that cup. And at the end of the day, it's more often than not empty when you need it to still have some juice in the tank. I'm using too many metaphors here. I'm getting lost. But unfortunately, that's just the reality. Yes. It's just, you run out of patience by 5 o'clock, and then you just, your kids are just pushing every button, and it sucks. And then you feel guilty, and it's all this bullshit. But I think at the end of the day, we have to remember, we're doing the things that make a happy mom. So I think happy mom is better than, I don't know, maybe more present mom that is resentful to her children. And I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're all just doing our best.
Yes.
And a shout out to any of the moms that either don't have access to daycare for their children or can't afford it or whatever, because if I didn't have somewhere to send my children every day, I could not run my business. And it seems like a uniquely mom situation to figure out.
To each their own. Like she said, there are people like if you're looking at me or listening to me both and like, oh my God, you're a terrible mother. I know you're probably not doing that, but like, it's just, I will admit, there are certain aspects I am not cut out for. Like I can't do it, show up the same way that some other moms can.
I know.
But it doesn't mean like, I still show up. It's just, I don't know how to fucking explain it without sounding like a horrible person.
We're doing the best that we can for our children, and we just have to feel comfortable knowing that we're doing our best.
So I think we are all in this together, guys. So let's just be nice to each other, okay? I think that's all the questions. And wow, I think we covered a lot tonight.
We did, yeah. Not a whole lot of business, maybe more like
real life.
The duality of being a human and a business owner.
Yeah.
That's the life that we live, is trying to wear all of the hats and do all of the things.
So many fucking hats. And you, I'm just going to out you right now. You don't really do well with hats, do you?
No. I think maybe I have an oddly shaped head.
That was a low blow, but I'm sorry. You walked right into it. Well, you know what? This was so fun. And I just feel like we have so many things to continue talking about, and it's okay. We have time to do that off the air.
Also, can I just say I'm so proud of you for doing this?
Thank you.
Like, I'm so proud of you. The amount that you've accomplished in the past year is absolutely wild, and just like being able to be on the sidelines and cheer you on through all of these different endeavors has been so exciting. And everything that you've done has been a success.
Don't jinx me.
No, knock on wood.
No.
But seriously, I'm so proud of you, and I don't think you hear it enough, and I am proud of you, and I love you.
Oh my God, thank you. And I don't hear it enough because I hope Andy's listening. So let's get
your shit together, Andy.
Thank you. Oh, he's going to hate that. Oh, you made me sound bad. No, I just would like to hear it more. Andy, thanks. Thank you so much. That was so nice. And it's mutual. The feeling is mutual. Okay.
Yeah. Biz besties. For sure.
Girl boss. I have to stop with the ironic.
How many voice notes do we send each other? It's like, tell me if I'm crazy, but I have this idea.
I literally voice noted her in fucking mid-December, which is like, she was literally in the middle of a mental breakdown because she was like between 17 different Christmas markets. And I was like, hey, do you want to start a separate business with me? Like, what the fuck?
But we are so honest with each other.
Oh yeah. She's like, no, I love the optimism, but there's no way you're getting tickets to that show.
A little bit, Alexa. I love it. Yeah. A little bit. I was like, no, like, where are you? I'm Honey. Quitting. I'm actually shutting my business.
I've sold Wick Bear.
I'm not adding another arm to my business. No. But yeah.
I just like to have.
We'll table it. We'll table it for one day.
I just don't want you to bring it up again so that I can forget about it.
Okay.
Because don't give me any more ideas. Don't give me any more fucking ideas. I don't need ideas, guys. I have too many.
All we do is come up with ideas.
Is it girl bossing or is it mental health issues? You know what?
That's the theme of our show.
What's the major takeaway from this episode? I want to say we really touched on trust. So like, trust your people. I don't know. The takeaway is go see your doctor. I'm making an appointment.
For a new diagnosis.
Buckle up. All right. So that is going to be it. Until next time, my friend. Thanks so much for being on my little show.
Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. And I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you.
Okay.
Same.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Chorbier Chats podcast. You can find more information related to this episode at the show notes on our website, isabartacres.com/chorbierchats. And don't forget to subscribe to the Chorbier Chats podcast on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube.